Today's live lesson experience is going to be an elementary mathematics lesson. We're going to have Stacy Knutson, our director for elementary math, do a partial lesson. So in our instructional framework, we recommend 90 minutes for the a mathematics block, but she will be doing a shorter lesson today. I'm Kendra Doyle. In case you don't know me, I'm the executive director for curriculum instruction and assessment. And I'm going to just kind of set the stage. And then I also have one of our instructional specialists for elementary mathematics with us today, Lauren Putzi, and she will also help facilitate the conversation. So I want to make sure that I'm clear as far as the purpose of this is really not to have created a perfect lesson and everything you see is going to be exactly the way your teacher should go back and you should see it done exactly like this. We do not think that teaching should be lockstep and robotic and that you're copying someone else. We really wanted to do this to give you an idea of some of the strategies in our instructional framework, how they look, and just some pieces to have conversation around. But we know we have a lot of work to do to get back where we were prior to the pandemic. And we believe that the strategy for doing that, you've heard me say this before, is to provide high quality tier 1 instruction every time we walk into the classroom.
For those of you who aren't familiar with our mathematics framework, it's basically broken down into these components, and each of them kind of serves a different purpose during the lesson. So we always are going to start off with, and you'll see Stacy, we'll start off with a number sense routine, which is really to transition the students into their mathematical thinking, working on number sense, working on flexibility with numbers. It's not paper to pencil, it's more about discussion and justification of thinking. She's also going to show focused instruction. Now, this is going to vary day to day. She is doing an introduction lesson, so it's going to last a little bit longer than what we would traditionally call a mini lesson. So she's kind of tapping into their schema. What are they already bringing, maybe from other units, from prior grades. She's also trying to spark their interest into what they're going to learn. And so you'll kind of see that, and then she's going to kind of guide them into their level of understanding. She's going to talk to them about what their purpose of learning is today. And that's going to be more of that whole group teacher-led with lots of student input and talking and discussion during that. Then the next thing that we would want to see our teachers go into is this small group math workshop and conference section. Now you notice they're all gray because they're all happening simultaneously during this 50, or it should be 30 to 60 minutes, depending on the grade that you're in. So if you were doing instruction with small groups, that would be kind of extending upon your focused instruction. Math workshop is what the other kids are doing. How are you engaging them? And with small groups, you're also being very intentional, and you're trying to meet the needs of those individual small groups of students to really tap into misunderstandings, work on skills, problem solving. And then towards the end of that block, right, which is 30 to 60 minutes, you want to individually conference. Now, you're not going to do this with every single student. You're going to pull 2 to 3 students and really do that one-to-one. Where do they think they're doing really well? Where are some areas where they still have questions? And kind of talking with them to kind of get deeper into their understanding. Then we're going to do closure, and that will include an exit ticket, but also wrapping up that lesson, revisiting those learning targets and making sure, what do kids have more questions about? What are they still going to want to learn more about? And bridging into giving them a sneak peek into what they're going to do the next day. Now, that all adds up to 90 minutes. And really, this is going to fluctuate also day to day and throughout the unit, because sometimes you're going to need more of a focus on one area than another area. But the other thing that I really want to point out is that small group math workshop piece is generally longer, all right, than you would want your focused instruction to be, because you want it to be more student needs based. So Stacy's going to really work on that morning math warm-up, number sense routines and focus instruction, and then guide you into how she would go into small groups from that point.
All right, hi, boys and girls. Oh, let's try that again. Hi, boys and girls. Awesome. Okay, thank you guys for letting me come into your classroom today. I'm so excited to be here, and I really appreciate you allowing lots of administrators and coaches across the district to watch what amazing scholars you guys are. All right, so I'm going to move kind of quick and fast paced. I'm going to tell you, I'll give you 30 seconds to do this. I'll give you 1 minute to do this. And when I say it, I mean it, right? So we move pretty quickly. So when I say write it, you're going to write it. When I ask you to share with me, I want you to share, okay? So our main lesson today is going to be about the coordinate plane. Can everybody repeat after me? Coordinate plane. Excellent. That will be our main lesson. We're going to do a little bit of warm up first, though, to get our brains thinking about math, okay? Thinking about numbers, thinking about how we use numbers in our life. So the first thing we're going to do, maybe, is we're going to find our peanut butter and jelly partner. So the first thing it tells you to do is to identify your shoulder partner. So where's your shoulder? Everybody shake your shoulders. Okay, so these folks would be shoulder partners, right? Once you find your shoulder partner, point to them. Oh, but his shoulder isn't really facing you. Here's your shoulder partner. Shoulder partner, shoulder partner, shoulder partner. Oh, I want to see everyone point to your shoulder partner so you know who you're going to talk to. Point to your shoulder partner. You guys are shoulder partners, okay? Now, you're going to take 5 seconds to decide who's going to be peanut butter and who's going to be jelly. Ready? Go. Okay, if you are peanut butter, show me by raising your hand. If you are peanut butter, show me by raising your hand. Gentlemen back here, who's peanut? Okay, thank you. If you are jelly, show me who you are. You are jelly. All right, because sometimes peanut butter is going to go first. Sometimes jelly is going to go first. So here's our agenda for today. Eyes up here. Who would like to read the first thing we're going to do today? First thing we're going to do today. Me by the numbers. Second thing we're going to do today. Guess my number. I'm hearing a trend of numbers. Are we going to talk about numbers today? Third thing we're going to do today. The fly on the ceiling. Excellent. And the last thing I hope we get to today is plot 3. And what is plot 3? It's a game. So that's what our goal is, to get to that. And then we'll wrap up our learning and you will be ready to go for the day. So we're going to start with just a little introduction to me. And I'm going to show you a number. And then I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk with your peanut butter or jelly partner. And you're going to think about what this number might represent for me. Not for you, for me. Okay? So I'm going to show you a number. And that means it represents something about who? You? No, you. Me. Okay. Miss K, right? All right. First number. Think first. Think first. Okay. Peanut butter is going to go first. Tell your jelly partner, what do you think the number 3 represents about me? I hear lots of great sentence stems. I think the number 3 represents Miss K by. Okay, I would like a jelly volunteer. So a jelly volunteer to tell me what your peanut butter partner thinks number 3 represents about me. And you're going to use your complete sentence, right? My partner thinks the number 3 represents this about you. Okay, yes. Oh, you know what? Hold on just a sec. Let's see if this works.
It represents your favorite number.
Oh, anybody else agree? You would just do this. If you think the number 3 represents my favorite number. Yeah, it looks like this. That means I agree. Okay. Anybody have their jelly partner have a different idea about what the number 3 might represent? You all think it's my favorite number? What did your jelly partner say?
It represents 3 pets.
It represents what?
3 pets.
3 pets. Okay, it could be the number of pets that I have. Anybody agree with that? Okay. Oh, we have a friend over here. You agree?
Oh. 3 siblings.
3 siblings. Are all of these guesses reasonable? Is it reasonable that 3 could be my favorite number? Is it reasonable that I could have 3 siblings? Is it reasonable that I could have 3 pets? Guess what? You're all wrong. 3 is the number of children that I have. Oh, I said that. Okay, so see, some of you knew. All right, next number. Oh my goodness, I hope I'm not ready for grandchildren yet. I will tell you I'm not. Okay, next number, 14. This time, Jelly, you're gonna tell Peanut Butter what you think 14 represents about me. And go. We're done. I'm hearing great sentence stems. Okay, wrap up what you're gonna say. Peanut Butter partners, you better be ready. This time you're gonna tell me what Jelly thinks 14 represents about me. Okay, are we ready? We're gonna track the speaker this time. That means your eyeballs are going to go to whoever is talking. Okay, so this time, Peanut Butter partner is going to tell me what Jelly thought 14 represents about me. Okay, so look, we're gonna, what's your name?
Isaac.
Isaac, where are our eyeballs gonna be? On Isaac.
We thought of my jelly partner thought of one of your children's age, 14.
So one of my children could be 14 years old. Thank you for sharing. Okay, what's another Jelly? What a Peanut Butter partner, tell me what your Jelly partner said. What's your name?
Roy.
Roy, okay, where are our eyeballs going to be? On Roy.
Maybe that's how many shoes you have in your closet.
Ooh, how many pairs of shoes I have in my closet? Okay, oh, we have more than 14. Okay, okay, last partner. Oh, yeah, she hasn't gotten to share yet. I'll come back. I have more numbers. Okay, what's your name?
Emily.
Emily, where are our eyes going to be? Emily.
My partner said it could be the number of pets you had.
Oh my goodness, the number of pets I have.
Like in the past.
Oh, okay. In accumulation of how many pets I could have had in my life. Okay, is that more reasonable than maybe the number of pets I could have at one point in time?
Yeah.
Miss Genevieve, your class, talk about reasonable folks. I am impressed. This is my family. There I am without a mask, right? There's my 3 kids, my husband and my mom. So just a little bit about me. So what I think would be fun is tonight for you to go home, think about numbers that represent you and challenge your family. Do they know what that number means to you?
No.
Okay. All right. So that was just a little bit about me. Next thing we're going to do is guess my number. Tell your partner what we're going to do. No, that was numbers about me. This time you're going to come up with a specific number. I'm going to give you clues and you're going to guess the number. So everybody find your yellow sticky note on your desk. Show me your yellow sticky note. Show me your yellow sticky note. Gentlemen, do you need help finding your yellow sticky note? Show me your yellow sticky note. Perfect. Okay, this next thing that we're going to do is our number sense routine for today, and it's called Guess My Number. It's a little different than me by the number was just so you could get introduced to who I was, okay? All right, you can put your sticky note down on your desk. My first clue for you, you're not gonna write the clue, you're going to write the number that fits the rule, okay? So who would like to read what the first rule is? First rule, yes, sir. My number is odd. So right now on your yellow sticky note, what do you think my number is? Nope, nope, this is a zero, needs zero talking right now. You're thinking, you're writing it down on your yellow sticky note. I don't see anyone's pencils moving. Pick a number, because you're in a minute, your partner is going to check you to make sure, is what you wrote on your sticky, is it an odd number? You have another 3 seconds to make a guess. Peanut butter jelly, check what your partner wrote. Is it an odd number? Would anybody like to help out our friends here in class and remind them what digits, excuse me, I might find in the ones place if I were an odd number? If I were an odd number, what digits might I find in my ones place?
1, 3, 5.
Anything else?
1, 3, 5, 7, 9.
Yes. Your number that you should have on your paper right now in the ones place should have a 1, a 3, a 5, a 7, or a 9. Okay. Thumbs up. All right. That means when you gave me a thumbs up, that means your number in the ones place had one of those digits. All right. You ready for the second clue? Let's see if your clue was correct or your guess was correct. Who would like to read the second clue out loud for me, please? Second clue.
My number is divided by 9.
My number is divisible. That's good, by 9. That means whatever my number is, one of the factors is 9. So think about all your multiples of 9. What could that be? Like 9, 18, not 24, 27. So right now, thinking of all your multiples of 9. So your number is divisible by 9. I am not seeing a lot on sticky notes. Making a second guess. Leave your first guess there. Write your second guess right underneath it. You're thinking. So remember, it has to match both clues. It has to be odd and it has to be divisible by 9. Okay, I see a guess here. See a guess here. Okay, well, that's why it's called a guess, right? Make your guess, please. Divisible by 9 has to be odd and divisible by 9. Okay, okay. Excellent, that's a good guess. This is your next guess, or this is your second guess? This is your second guess, okay. Think about it, is this divisible by 9? Can you take this and divide it by 9? 3? No. Okay. Okay. So who would like to share what they came up with for their second guess? So you know it's odd, and you know it's divisible by 9. What could my options be? What did you come up with? 9. Okay, 9. Let's see, does that fit the rules? Is it odd? Yes. Is it divisible by 9? So far, it matches the rules. Okay, yes, sir. What'd you say? 27 is what he said. Does that follow the rules? Is it odd? Is 27 odd?
Yes, it is.
Has a 7 in the ones place. Is it divisible by 9? What would you multiply times 9 to get 27? 3. There you go. Anyone have another guess that we haven't said? We have 9. We have 27. You have another guess?
81.
Okay, we have a guess of 81 over here. Does that follow all the rules? Is it odd? Is it divisible by 9?
Yes.
9 times what equals 81?
8.
Close. 9 times
9.
9. So yeah. You have another guess. You already gave me your guess. Okay, could be 108. Another. Well, hold on. Is 108 odd?
No.
So it can't be 108, right? Okay, here's my next clue. You ready? Who wants to read the third clue? Third clue. Yes. Here.
My number is less than 100.
My number is less than 100. So now you have 3 rules. Your number has to be odd. Your number has to be divisible by 9. And your number has to be less than 100. So think, write, whatever number you're guessing, yeah, it cannot be more. It's going to be anything that is less than 100. So for some of you, can you keep your guess the same?
No.
Could you keep your guess the same?
Yeah. So what am I supposed to put?
Could you keep it the same, I'm asking? Do you have to?
No.
No. But if it follows the rules, could you keep it the
Yes.
same? Excuse me, yes. So does anyone have a different guess? A different guess?
99 or 81.
Okay, so he's guessing 99. Is that odd? Is it divisible by 9? Is it less than 100? Fits the rules. We had 81 last time and we already went through those rules. Something different than 99, 81, 27, that somebody already has said.
45.
Okay, 45. What do you guys think about that? Thumbs up if you say yes, that follows the rules. Thumbs to the side if you're not so sure if it follows the rules. Thumbs down if it doesn't follow the rules. His guess was 45. So I'm seeing some I don't knows. I'm seeing some yeses that follows the rules. So for the I don't knows, let's see, 45. What digit is in the ones place? 5. Is it odd?
Yes.
45. Is it divisible by 9? 9 times 5 equals 45. Is 45 less than 100?
Yes.
Is that a reasonable guess? Okay. So you're keeping track of all your guesses, and it's okay if they've changed each time. You change it based on the new information you're given. Okay, here's my 4th clue. It's going to be 5 total clues. Here's the 4th one. So who would like to read what my 4th clue is?
My number is greater than 50.
My number is greater than 50. So some of you, will you have to change what's on your paper? So can I keep 45 as my guess?
No.
Why can't I keep 45?
It's less.
It's less than 50. Okay, so you're making a quick guess now that you have 4 clues. Some of you might have kept your number like, nope, still follows all the rules. Can I have you share what your answer is?
63.
63. Let's see if we can give her thumbs up for everything. Is 63 odd?
Yes.
Is it divisible by 9?
Yes.
Is it less than 100?
Yes.
Is it greater than 50?
Yes.
So she guessed 63 after the second clue, and she's gotten to keep it the whole time. All right, are you ready for the last and final clue? Here we go. Who wants to read the last and final clue for me?
The difference between the digits in tens and ones place is 7.
Okay, thank you for reading. The difference between the digit in the tens and the ones place is 7. Excellent. I see partner peanut butter and jelly partners discussing it can't be this. It has to be this. I want to know what it has to be and why it has to be that. You should be talking with your peanut butter jelly partner. That you have a reason why. This means there's only one answer. It could be. What do you think? Is that divisible by 9? Think about your combinations of 9 or your multiples of 9. So talk with your partner. What did you guys come up with? Is that divisible by 9? And is the difference between these two digits 1? It's got to follow all those rules. Got to follow all those rules. Okay, I'm going to give you about 4 more seconds because we've got to. Did you come up with? You're still thinking? So could it be this? No, right? That last clue. What could it be? Okay, so talk with your partner about why you're guessing this one.
Okay, but you don't know why? Maybe that's how old your mom is.
Oh, but this isn't about me anymore. This is just a random number. Okay. But you're close. What do you think? Okay, and why did you guys come up with that?
Because 8 is 8, right? So one, if you had 7, that's 8 too. So the difference is 7.
Mhm.
So it's gotta be 81.
Okay. All right. Who feels that they are ready to tell me what my mystery number is? And you have to tell me how you know. You can't just say this is what it is. You have to tell me how you know. Actually, everybody, turn to your peanut butter jelly partner real fast and tell them what you think the number is. 77. What do you think? What do you think? You don't know? Okay. Okay. Who thinks my number is something we've already said out loud? I think I've heard it once. Okay. I'm going to have our friend over here. Tell me your name. Justin. My mathematician over here, Justin, is going to tell me what he thinks my mystery number is and why. Go ahead, Justin.
Me and my partner said it's 81.
Okay.
Because
Wait, hold on just one second. Can I interrupt you? So Justin is saying he thinks it's 81. If you agree with Justin, how can you show Justin I agree with you? Okay. Now tell us why, Justin.
because so you have 8 and then 1. If you add 7 to that 1, that means 8. That equals 8. So the difference is 7.
So based on your last clue, what I hear Justin saying is that there's an 8 in the tens place,
Yes.
and there's a
1 in the ones place.
1 in the ones place,
And if you add 7 to that 1, that equals 8. So the difference is 7.
and 1 plus 7 is 8, or the difference is 7. So let's make sure, Justin, what about all these other rules? Is 81 odd, everybody?
Yes.
Is 81 divisible by 9?
Yes.
What times 9 equals 81? 9. We already talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Is 81 less than 100?
Yes. Yes.
I heard no. Oh, okay. Everybody said yes?
Yes.
81 is less than 100. Is 81 greater than 50?
Yes, it's greater by 31.
Okay. And is the difference between the tens place and the ones place 7?
Yes.
That is my number. Everybody right now, let's celebrate all of our hard work. We're going to do the fireworks. Okay, ready? Do you know how to do fireworks? You get them ready. Everybody, get your firework ready. Ready? Get it ready and boom. Awesome work. You want to do it one more time? Okay, get your firework ready and boom. Excellent job. Thank you very much. We are going to get started now with our lesson. Our lesson is going to be based on a book. It's called The Fly on the Ceiling. This is an introduction to the coordinate plane unit that you're going to be getting into. Who would like to read what our learning target is for today? It's right under here, under learning target. What should we be able to do by the end of the lesson today? Oh, hold on. Where'd my, there it is. Read our learning target to us, please.
I can describe attributes of a coordinate plane using vocabulary from the
Anchor
chart.
There you go. Excellent. Thank you very much for reading. So how you'll know you're successful, here's your success criteria. We hope that you can describe the origin of a coordinate plane. You can describe the x-axis on a coordinate plane. You can describe the y-axis on a coordinate plane. You can describe the use of an ordered pair on a coordinate plane. And you can use the words parallel and perpendicular to describe ordered pair movement across a coordinate plane. All of my scholars and mathematicians in here today are going to be successful with all of these things. Everybody, open up your math journal to your next clean page. Find your next clean page in your math journal, please. You're almost out. We'll have to get you another one. All right. We are going to be building our anchor chart together today. And a lot of it is going to be based on this book. And we've said it a couple of times already, but turn and tell your peanut butter jelly partner what the title of the book is that we're going to be reading. Excellent. I heard lots of people. Our book is The Fly on the Ceiling. Okay, and it's written by Dr. Julie Glass and illustrated by Richard Walls. Now, I want you to talk with your peanut butter and jelly partner again. And I want you to talk about what you think this book could possibly be about. Now, peanut butter, you're going to listen first. Jelly, you're going to go. You have 30 seconds to tell your peanut butter partner what you think this book is going to be about. And then it'll be Jelly's turn to do the same. I mean, Jelly and then peanut butter. Go. So I heard a few different things as I walked around. I definitely heard the word, there's going to be a fly. Excellent use of using the title. I heard it's probably going to be on the ceiling. Where's the ceiling? Everybody point to the ceiling. Everybody point to the ceiling. Okay. So there's going to be a fly on the ceiling. And then I did hear something interesting. I heard someone say, I think there's going to be something like about a map or something where they're trying to find where it is on the ceiling. Look up at this ceiling. What is it? It's a grid. Would you agree? Does the ceiling look like a grid? See how, does it have perpendicular lines? You're going to have to pull back your 4th grade memory. Oh, is that what you have right here, right?
Yes, it
Does the ceiling look like this?
Yes.
Sort of. Okay. Think about your vocabulary from 4th grade. The word perpendicular. Can you show me with your arms what perpendicular might look like? I see one person showing me. I see another. I see, is this? Okay. A perpendicular line makes what kind of an angle? A right angle, a 90-degree angle. Everybody show me perpendicular. This is what we're going to use for perpendicular. Everybody show me. Okay, put your hands down. Show me perpendicular. Put your hands down. Show me perpendicular. Put your hands down. Show me parallel. Uh-huh. Tricked you. Oh, good. I didn't even have to show you. Okay, this is parallel. Everybody show me parallel. Okay, put your hands down. Show me parallel. Put your hands down. Show me perpendicular. Put your hands down. Show me parallel. Put your hands down. Show me parallel. Oh, you really have to listen. Put your hands down. Show me perpendicular. Okay, this time I'm going to show you, and you're going to tell me the word. You ready? Parallel. Oh, I got you. Perpendicular. Okay. Okay. All right. So we are going to be discussing this fly. Right now, I want you to think about how would you describe this fly's location? Talk to your partner, your peanut butter jelly partner. How would you describe the location of the fly? And go. Talk to your peanut butter jelly partner. Was it easy to describe this fly's location? Yes. It was? Okay. Somebody tell me what you told your peanut butter or jelly partner about this fly's location. Imagine I'm grandma on the phone and you're trying to tell grandma about the location of the fly. What did you tell your partner about where the fly is located? On the board. It's on the board. That's a big board though. Did you give any other description about its location? No. Okay. Is it on the ceiling? No? What else would you say about the fly's location? I heard it's in the middle. It's not centered. Are you able to give me an exact location for the fly? If I'm telling somebody that can't actually see it, based on your description, would they know where it's located? Okay?
On a camera with a green screen, with the screen turned white, with the green screen that's white.
Okay, it could be on a camera with a green screen, but would I know exactly where on that white screen that fly is?
Turn left and turn right.
Turn left and turn right. Where am I going to turn left or right? It's just, it's a blank white screen. Where am I going to turn left or right?
So basically it's on a whiteboard looking like, and it's a little.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I have a feeling we're not all tracking the speaker, so we don't all hear you.
And it is a little bit off centered, like it's a little bit like 2 meters right and 1 meter down.
Okay, 2 meters to the right and 1 meter down. Okay. All right, so you have your journal out because I want you to write, you're going to be writing in your journal. So instead of writing out quick write, we're going to do the shortcut. At the top of your paper, put a QW. Check your partner. Do they have QW written? Remember, we're going to go quickly. In your journal, at the top of the page, you're going to write a QW. At the top of your page. Now, you are going to write, and I'm only going to give you 1 minute to write. Okay? The question is, how would you describe the fly's location now? And so I've given you a sentence stem if you need it. The fly is located. Okay. Before you begin, and some of you may have already started with your sentence stem, I want you to have about 20 seconds to talk to your peanut butter or jelly partner about what you're going to write. Talk to your partner about what you're going to write. So talking first, then writing, and go. Talk to your finish up in the next few seconds. Would anybody like to read their quick write out loud to the class? Read your quick write out loud to the class. Oh, where are we looking now?
Daniel.
Look, we're looking at Daniel. Eyes on Daniel.
The fly is 5 inches right and takes up 4.5 inches.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Okay, let's do the silent golf clap for Daniel. Okay, all right. Justin, right?
Yes.
Okay, Justin's gonna share. Where should our eyes be, boys and girls? Mathematicians, I should say.
Yes. It's 1 cube away from the middle.
Okay,
One per
one.
cube, because there's 10 cubes in each row.
Okay. Okay. He thinks it's 1 cube away from the middle. Anyone else want to share what they wrote? And what I would like to see is that you're reading from your journal. And this is Roy?
Yeah.
Roy. So where should our eyes be, mathematicians? Looking at Roy and listening.
The fly is 5 down and 4 from the right, and it is in the middle of 4 blocks.
Okay. Thank you, Roy. How should we celebrate Roy? We forgot to celebrate Justin. We could do the silent golf clap for you guys too. Okay. So we're going to get into our story. We're going to get into our story. Before we do, though, I do want you to see, we passed out a grid to everyone. Everybody hold up your grid so we can see it. This is what a full coordinate grid looks like. But for 5th grade, we're only going to focus on quadrant 1. All of this other will come in your future years in math when we start talking about negative numbers. Okay, but for right now, we're just going to focus on quadrant 1. Okay, Ms. Savetta is going to come around. I believe we have enough books for everyone. So everybody gets a book. While she's passing these out, let's look at some of the questions we're going to be thinking about as we're reading. Who would like to read the first question that we're going to think about while we're reading? Yes, sir. First question.
What was Renee's problem?
What was Renee's problem? Excellent. Who would like to read question 2 that we're going to consider while we're reading?
What did Renee wonder about the fly on the ceiling?
Oh, what did Renee wonder about the fly on the ceiling? And then what's the third question we're going to consider while we're reading?
How did he find out?
How did he find out? Ooh, I wonder what that means. How did he find what out? And then the final question we're going to consider.
How did he know exactly where the fly landed?
Ooh, how did he know exactly where the fly landed? Okay, we are going to be building our anchor chart as we are reading our story. Okay, so to get ready, in your journal, right below your quick write, where? Okay, I heard 2 people. Where is it? Right below your quick write. I would like you to write, and you don't have to write focus, but this is, I'm telling you, this is what our focus is going to be. Please write the word coordinate plane. Underneath that, write vocabulary and write models and strategies. In your journals. Where in your journals? Under your quick write. Okay, you may follow along with me in your book as I read. This is the fly in the ceiling. This is the story of a guy who lived a long time ago. He lived in France. Do you have a question? Your pencil is broken? He was a French guy, so he had a French name. His name was René Descartes. This may sound like a funny name to you, but in France, it's perfectly normal. René was a philosopher. A philosopher is someone who thinks about why things are the way they are. René was a great philosopher. Many of his ideas are still famous today. He says, I think, therefore I am. I think. But even though Rene was a great philosopher, he did have one problem. He was messy. This problem started out small, but it got bigger and bigger. The funny thing was, Rene did not know he had a problem until he started to lose things. His notebook, his favorite hat, his book about stars, his inkwell. You found them all? Then he found the inkwell. Uh-oh. Now, Rene knew he had a problem. How did he know he had a problem?
He lost it, but then
Where did he find it?
on the bed.
Spilled all over his bed. This must stop, Rene said to himself. He decided to take a walk and try to think of a solution to his problem. It took him a moment to find his coat, his hat, and the front door. I don't know. Rene went to his favorite bakery to buy a fresh loaf of bread. Then he headed to his favorite place to think, the banks of the River Seine. Rene ate some of the bread while he walked. He looked at the water and wondered how he could better track of his things. Night fell and Rene was still thinking. He was thinking so hard he didn't look where he was going. What's going to happen? Fall in the water. Splash! Into the Seine went Rene Descartes. Dog. When he was fished out of the water, he was cold and wet and his bread was soggy. Rene walked home. By the time he got there, he was sneezing and wheezing. He crawled into bed and fell fast asleep. The next morning, Rene still felt dreadful. Not only that, but he couldn't find a handkerchief or an extra blanket or logs to make a fire. He couldn't even find his soggy bread, which should have dried out by then. Rene crawled sadly back into bed. He stared at his ceiling. The ceiling was the only place in his room that wasn't messy. Rene wished that he lived on the neat ceiling instead of on the messy floor. Just then he noticed a fly on the ceiling. The fly flew off and landed near one corner. Then it flew off and landed in another corner. Then it landed above Rene's toes. Then it stopped right over Rene's head. Rene started to think. He wondered if the fly ever landed in the same place twice. This might seem like a weird thing to think about, but Rene was a philosopher, so it was normal for him. I need to record where the fly lands so I can know how many times it lands in the same place, he thought. But how can I do that? Rene thought and thought, suddenly had a brilliant idea. It was so brilliant that he jumped out of bed and did a jig. You know what a jig is? Like a little dance. He knew how to record exactly where the fly landed on the ceiling. Rene took a piece of charcoal from the fire. Then he climbed upon a chair and started drawing lines on the ceiling. Don't try this at home. Your parents won't like it. I wouldn't suggest it. First, Rene drew lines from the north wall to the south wall. Next, he drew lines from one side to the other. Then he numbered the lines along two of the walls. After that, he got back into bed. I'm going to stop our reading for just a second because we need to add to our anchor chart. What is Rene making? A grid. Do you have a grid anywhere near you?
Yes.
Excellent. Please glue your grid underneath where it says models and strategies. Glue it right underneath where it says models and strategies. So it said he drew lines from side to side. Does anybody know what lines that run from east to west or side to side are called? I'm going to make mine look like yours. You already have yours made. I'm adding to our anchor chart up here. Turn and tell your peanut butter and jelly partner, what are lines called that run from east to west? Or as he said, side to side, the lines that I just drew. What are those lines called? Yes, ma'am. They're called what? Okay, these look like parallel lines. Yes, they are parallel parallel to each other. But if they run like this, instead of up and down, they run side to side. Tell me again. Who wants to repeat what he said? What kind of lines are these? One more time. Horizontal lines. These are horizontal lines. Tell your partner what they're called. They are horizontal lines. Then he said he drew lines from north to south or up and down. So you all already have yours. I'm going to draw mine. What are lines called that run from north to south or up and down? Tell your partner what you think they're called. What are they called? The ones that run up and down like this. What are they called? What are they called? Vertical. Everybody say it. Show me with your arms. Vertical. Do it again. Vertical. What is this? Horizontal. Tell me again. Ah, good. You got it. Okay. So, and then he says, let's say, are we caught up with him? Oh, and what did he do? Once he drew the lines, what did he do? He numbered them. Did he start anywhere he wanted? No. Where did he start? Oh, I heard somebody say the word I'm absolutely looking for. The origin. If you look at Renee's lines, when he has a line and there are tick marks and you see numbers, what does that remind you of? What does that remind you of? A number line. So he drew a horizontal number line and he drew a vertical number line. So all of these lines are my horizontal lines and all of these are my vertical lines. And then he started where? At the origin, or what number? 0. So everybody, you've got yours glued in. Please number at every tick mark. So you have 0. What comes next? 1. Then what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Does that always have to be where it stops? No. No. What do we know about number lines? Keeps going on forever and ever and ever, right? But so that we can fit it on our paper, we're going to limit it to 10. What about when he goes up? But what number does he start at? 1. At 0 again. So this is for my horizontal lines. What about my vertical lines? I have to start where? At the origin. Remember, the origin is called, is where things begin. It's where things start. So these number lines are starting here. We're going to add some vocabulary in just a second. I'm going to number my other lines. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now that one ends at 10 also. Can it go on and on forever? Yes, it can. Okay, so we're going to add some words to our anchor chart. You are going to add on your side also for vocabulary. Who knows what that word says? Perpendicular. Show me with your hands. What does perpendicular look like? Right angle. So you're writing perpendicular because right here we have formed perpendicular lines, right? We made perpendicular lines where the horizontal lines are meeting the vertical lines. Okay? We're going to add another word we talked about earlier. Good, you're all right. You read my mind. Parallel. All of the horizontal lines are what? Parallel. Means they'll never ever touch. All of the vertical lines are what? Oh, what does that mean? This? Okay. All of the vertical lines are what? Parallel. Okay. We are going to add, what did we say? Oops, where I forgot to put the 0. What did somebody say the word? What was that called where we started? It's our point of origin. We're just going to write origin. And I'm going to use my black color for this. And that's right there, right? And I'm marking it on my anchor, on my grid also, on my coordinate plane. All right, excellent. Guys are keeping up. Excellent job, mathematicians. All right, so check and be sure. Does your partner have perpendicular, parallel, and origin written in their vocabulary side? And do they have their coordinate plane labeled with their numbers? And do they have the point of origin labeled? Remember, that's where each line begins, the point of origin. The next word we're going to add as we go on to the story, because we can't even go on yet. We can't go on yet because I'm not done with all that Renee has created on his ceiling, which don't do that, by the way. Do not go home and say, well, today this weird lady came to our class and she said to draw on our ceilings. No, no, no.
The book said it. Don't.
The book did, right? Book said don't do it.
No,
I say don't do it. Okay.
Book said do.
I have a question. So we've drawn those pink, or I've drawn the pink horizontal lines. Does anybody know? It has a special name. Going this way, going horizontal, has a special name. Does anybody know what that special name might be? You do? Tell me.
I've been saying it in my head as you were doing them. I was like, that's the x-axis.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Don't go on. Say it real loud so your friends can hear you. Everybody, what did he say? One more time. The x-axis. So my horizontal lines all run on the x-axis. So you're going to add that. You're going to add that to your anchor chart. It's x dash and then axis. And in parentheses, I'm going to write the word horizontal. In parentheses, I'm going to write the word horizontal. X-axis, excellent. Is it just this bottom line that's the x-axis?
No.
Is it all of my pink lines, my horizontal lines? They're all on my x-axis. This point right here, this is the 2 on the x-axis. This is the 2 on the x-axis. Okay, so what do you think? Oh, and I'm going to label it down here too. Let's label it down here. Since y'all don't have your pretty colors like I do, let's label it there also. So if that's the x-axis, I wonder what the vertical lines are called. What are the vertical lines called? Ooh, what did he say?
The y-axis.
Everybody?
Y-axis.
The y-axis. And what direction did it run?
Up, down. Vertical.
Ah, thank you. What direction did it run? Vertical. So that's my y-axis. So I'm going to add that to my anchor chart. And that is all of my vertical lines. And then should I label it on the side too? Yes. Yes, absolutely. This is going to be my y-axis. So what are my horizontal lines called? X-axis. Horizontal? X-axis. Vertical? Y-axis. Okay, that's what all we're going to do on our anchor chart for right now. We're going to keep reading. Are you ready? Okay. So I just finished page 29. I'm ready to move on to the next page. Renee watched the fly on the ceiling. When it landed, he counted the lines over to that spot. He wrote down the number 2. So when you look at the picture, why did he write down the number 2 first? Because in the alphabet, what comes first? X comes before Y. So when he counted over on the x-axis, how many spaces over did he count? 2. We don't know how high up yet he's gone, right? We haven't said that yet. All we're saying is just along that horizontal line from the origin, he's gone how many spots? 2 spaces. Then he counted the lines what? Up to that spot. And what number did he write down? 5, because he started at the origin again, right? So that's at 0, and he counted up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Together, the 2 numbers, 2 and 5, told him exactly where the fly was. The numbers 2 and 5 are called coordinates. Oh, so guess what we need to do? We need to write this down. We are going to add to our anchor chart. When he put the 2 and the 5 together, could he tell the location of the fly with just the 2? No. No. Could he tell the location of the fly with just the 5? No. No. He had to put them together to make a pair, right? 2 things together make a pair. But what we know is the X comes before the Y in the alphabet, right? So that puts it in order. What does it put it in? Order. What does it put it in? Order. Puts it in order. So to describe where that fly is, he made an ordered pair. And I'm putting this in my black marker. Everybody write down ordered pair. And I'm going to add a little bit out down here too. Are you keeping up with me? Yes, you are. Of course you are. Are you keeping up with me? Yes. All right. So he made an ordered pair out of these coordinates. The first one he got to was 2, right? 2 was his, what is this line called? Yes, 2 was his X coordinate. 2 was his X coordinate. And I'm going to go ahead and write this in my ordered pairs down here. 2, that was his X coordinate. What was his Y coordinate? X, Miss Genevieve. These scholars are unbelievable. His Y coordinate, and we're going to add that word to our anchor chart as well. His Y coordinate, you just told me was what? 5. So the ordered pair is 2, 5. That's how you would read it. Could I read it 5, 2? Is it the same thing? No. Not the same thing. A different location, right? It's like one above. Well, is it one above? Let's find, help me find 2, 5. If I wanted to find the ordered pair 2, 5, where do I start? Where do I start? I start at the origin. Excellent. And then am I going my vertical lines or am I going my horizontal lines? Horizontal. So I count over how many? 1, 2. Then what do I do? Go up by 5, right? So here's 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So everybody right now, mark where that fly was. He was at 2, 5. The x-axis first, then up the y-axis. Where is 5, 2? Go over what? X-axis to 5. So are those different spots though? Yes, but we always start with what? X. Everybody say it again. Always start with what? X. Excellent. Okay. So I am at the last paragraph on page 30. The numbers 2 and 5 are called coordinates. The first coordinate 2 measures how far away the fly is from the left side. The second coordinate 5 measures how far away the fly is from the bottom wall. Renee spent the whole morning watching the fly and sneezing. If you had gone to visit him, he might have said, the fly is 6 over 3 up. Do you see how the coordinates are 6, 3? Yes. He went along the x-axis, how many? 6. And then he went up the y-axis, how many? 3. So what would the ordered pair be for that? Thank you. Say, what would the ordered pair be, everyone? 6, 3. So I'm going to write that. I'm going to write 6, 3, under where it says ordered pair. And I want everybody right now to see, could you find, whoops, and I wrote it in the wrong color. Could you find the ordered pair 6, 3 on your graph? Everybody try it. What do I do first? Where do I start? Start at the origin and then what? So my horizontal axis, my x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what do I do? Go up 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to plot my point right there. And so he says, or the fly is 4 over 7 up. I'm going to let you guys fill in your anchor chart when I'm gone. Or the fly is 8 over 1 up. Every spot on the ceiling had its own set of coordinates. Recording the coordinates of the fly over and over again gave Renee another brilliant idea. Maybe he could keep track of his stuff the same way he kept track of the fly. It would be even easier because a hat can't get up and fly away. For sure, right? Renee jumped out of bed again. He pushed everything into the kitchen. Now the floor of his room was as clean as a ceiling, but he couldn't draw the grid on the floor with charcoal. It would rub off too soon. Renee went next door to see his neighbor, to see if his neighbor had any paint. What luck! His neighbor was a painter. Renee and the painter painted a grid on Renee's floor. Another thing I would not recommend doing at home, friends. Then they went to the bakery to buy bread. By the time they got back, the paint had dried. The painter helped Renee put his things in place on the grid. They found Renee's hat, his star book, his quill pens, his old boots, his journal from when he was 10, and many other things that Renee didn't even know were missing. On a chart, Renee carefully recorded where everything went. Look at his chart. He says, voila! Here's my boots, my star book, my hat, my journal, my bagel, all his things. He's plotted the points. After that, Renee's home was never messy again. Well, hardly ever. Renee's system caught on around the world. It was named the Cartesian coordinate system. Cartesian came from Renee's last name, Descartes. Today, people still use the Cartesian coordinate system in many different ways. You can see we show like the profits of a company here. Uh-oh. There's a map. They're going to find the hidden treasure. And then finally, the author's note. Okay, so maybe Rene Descartes wasn't really messy. And maybe he didn't really fall into the sin or draw lines on his ceiling. But even if nobody knows exactly how he did it, it is a fact that Rene Descartes made the Cartesian coordinate system very popular. And he was a darn good philosopher too. Excellent. All right. So I'm going to leave that for another lesson. So I would like for you to look at the anchor chart. And I would like for you to use the pink word that describes the point where the fly first landed. It was what? What was that called? Pink word. Is that a pink word? Okay, he landed at 2, but what was 2? 2 was my what? It's on the x-axis, but what was the 2 actually called? What was it called? What was the 2? X coordinate. The 2 was the x coordinate of the ordered pair. What was the 5 then? It's a blue word. The y coordinate. What way does the x-axis run? Horizontal. Show me horizontal. Say x-axis. Show me again. X-axis. Show me what y-axis would look like. Right, y-axis. And what direction does that run? Vertical. All right. So this is what our anchor chart will eventually all look like. I'm going to leave a game with you all to play to practice plotting points on your coordinate grid. I have the directions and the game boards. I'm going to leave the dice and the clear discs all for you guys to play. You can put it in your workstations. So all you would do is you roll the dice. You decide which color of die is going to represent the x coordinate and what is going to represent the y coordinate. And then you just move your little disc. All right, at the bottom, underneath, or on your next page, actually. On your next page, we're going to do a quick write summary. I don't want you to write all that out. So write QWS. What are you going to write? QWS. Write QWS on your page. Your prompt is using vocabulary from the anchor chart. Where are you going to find vocabulary words? Anchor chart. From the anchor chart. Explain how you plot a point on the coordinate grid. I expect at least 4 vocabulary words. How many words? 4. At least. Can you use more? Yes. Yes. Can you use less? No. No. You can use these sentence stems if you'd like. You can use blank to plot a point on the coordinate grid by blank. Or to plot a point on the coordinate grid, I would. Okay? So, where are you looking for your words? On the anchor chart. How many words you have to have in your writing? 4. At least 4.
So obviously I feel one reflection is that I definitely overplanned, but a lot of it I think was setting those routines and structures kind of in place and getting kids used to, you know, I want you to turn and talk to a partner, finding out who your partner is, just getting used to sharing and like tracking the speaker. And so I know that in a perfect world, we don't have all day to do math, even though I would love that. But I think, that was just a snippet of what a lesson would be. And I also, I didn't get to where the kids got to practice, they got to play the game, but I left the game for the teacher to use maybe tomorrow in the part of the we do part of the lesson that she does tomorrow. And I talked to her about continuing to add on to the anchor chart as she goes. There were some times where I was like, darn, I should have had them turn and talk again before they started writing, or especially for their quick write summary, I should have had them turn and talk. That was one of the things I was like, I missed a step there. And I would have liked to have had them practice the vocabulary more. Like as we were doing it, they were practicing, but then when I was calling out, like, what pink word would you use? Or, I wish I had had more time for that.
And then what would the next lesson look like, Stacy? Just like we saw almost a complete lesson here, like how would you start them in the next lesson?
So in the suggested lesson sequence, which is a great document, the next part of it is really like having the kids act it out. And so the floor is the tile floor that most or many buildings have is the perfect example. You don't even have to use tape if you don't want to, but you could use painter's tape to create a grid and make a human coordinate plane. So where the kids are actually like acting it out, like I'm walking down the x-axis. Here's my x coordinate. And then I'm walking up the y coordinate, and they put themselves in a place. You could give them like note cards where they have different ordered pairs, and they would find out, they would have to see if they could figure out where their spot on the floor was.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Stacy. You were amazing. You were vulnerable, and you were a model for, us being able to look at something and have some nice conversations about it. Most of the conversation, like I said, happened in the chat. So I'm going to save that for you to look at later. But we'd like you to hang on. I know you're probably tired. You haven't talked that loud for that long in a while.
It was fun though. The kids were so cute. Yeah. I loved it. Like I was back in what I love. It's awesome.
So, and we appreciate being able to see some of those pieces of the instructional framework in action. Like it's one thing to be like, do numeracy routines, but it's different to be able to like see it and see how kids engage and respond to that and how to make it like really fun.
Can I jump in? Can I do
Please.
one
Yes.
comment? Is what the biggest thing that I love is that not one time did those children do a worksheet. They were completely engaged. There was complete discussion, and they were learning as much, if not more, than having a pencil to paper. Like you rock. Like you did awesome. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you.
There were a lot of comments in the chat about connections that really support, or I should say, strategies or actions, teacher moves that you did to support emergent bilinguals. Can you talk us through how you plan in your lesson, or like what you're thinking about when you're like, I want to make sure I do some things to support language learners in the classroom?
Well, that, math is like its own language in itself. So I feel like we're all emergent bilinguals when it comes to math, because we're all learning new vocabulary and having to use it in a new way. When they go home, their parents aren't talking about the coordinate plane, and they're not like, oh, you should move. When I go to the store, I go on the x-axis to here. Like they don't hear those kind of words. And so I think really pre-planning the anchor chart ahead of time, like this is the vocabulary. I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I had my little cheat sheet. I had one printed out so I could make sure. It's important to build it with the students, but I want to make sure that I didn't miss any really great academic vocabulary that I think they were going to need. And adding those moves with it, I think helps to cement it in everyone's mind, like, oh, okay, this is x-axis. And you keep repeating it. And it's kind of like that miles on the tongue thing. The more you say it, the more you'll use it, the more you know what it is. And planning for like those sentence stems, I think is very important, again, especially in math. Here's the question, and I want you to write about it, but like I said, having them turn and talk first about what they're going to write about can help that maybe reluctant writer reluctant speaker, like having the chance to say, oh, my partner said this. And so that's why I had them share, like, tell me what your jelly partner said, or tell me what your peanut butter partner said, instead of like, this is what you think. You kind of get off the spot, because it's not so much of, what I have to come up with, what I have to say. And so it definitely is something you have to plan out. Like I had it, that's why I had it on the screen. I think it's important for them to see it on the Google slide deck as well, so that they're not having to try to remember it all.
We have a lot of administrators in here, and one of the things that we want as a takeaway from this experience is that that administrators have like some look-fors to monitor their teachers, right? And to make sure that they understand what high quality math instruction looks like, and how to coach their teachers, whether it be in their PLC or in their classrooms, or even providing feedback, to their teachers after they're doing their walkthroughs. So like, what would you say, to an administrator who's trying to make sure that they're giving feedback to their teachers? What would you say when you're trying to make sure that their feedback is aligned to the instructional framework?
I think what I would hope that they would find when they walk into a classroom is lots of collaboration amongst the students. This was an introduction lesson, so there's a lot more of me talking than I would have preferred. There's a lot, and it's very academic vocabulary heavy, but on most days I would rather see the kids doing most of the talking, whereas the teacher is just kind of doing that facilitating, and they're doing the thinking. I try to make sure that I'm not leading them to any specific answer. I really want to know what they think. Having them write things down, I think, really cements it. So lots of journaling, using of the academic vocabulary, and by the students, not necessarily always by the adult. And I think, to kind of piggyback off of what Lauren had said earlier is, even if you find something from the workbook, let's say from Go Math, we're not saying you can't do it, but like pages and pages of problem after problem after problem, especially if they're going to end up practicing it wrong, doesn't do anybody any good. And so you can really highlight some good high level tasks, or some really good high level questions, maybe those multi-step problems, even snipping them from the book, because it tells them this is a multi-step problem. So we don't want to, we kind of want them to figure that out for themselves. And so a lot of self-discovery for the kids, and activating some of that prior knowledge that they have, and really the kids doing most of the work. Like, I'm tired, but at the end of the day, the kids should be the ones that are going home tired, because they've done all the work.
Thank you. And thank you for that context, to know that this was the first lesson of a unit. And so there was maybe even more teacher talk than normally you would want to see in a classroom. Thank you for that. And knowing that introducing new vocabulary is maybe a little bit more teacher heavy, but then, as you progress through the unit, it transfer more to students leading the discussions. Angela.
Hi, Stacy. Great job. I wanted to ask you a question about all the cross-content integration that you included in your lesson. What advice would you give to teachers who are just kind of new, or really just kind of starting to engage about what true enriched cross-curricular lessons and integration should look like? What advice would you give to teachers to kind of help them get started with that process?
I think really it is going to require some study of the standards of the TEKS. Like, I have to know my science standards really well in order to know how I'm going to, if they haven't done temperature yet, in like a first grade classroom, obviously I wouldn't make a connection to temperature, or, so knowing, at this point in 5th grade, I knew they should know east, west, north, south, like they should know their cardinal directions. And so just kind of knowing your standards and kind of what came before. I know it's a lot of pre-work up front, but I think our curriculum documents across the content areas really help with that, because you can see at a glance, okay, here's the content I'm supposed to be doing in science or social studies or literacy, and here's how I can embed that within my math lesson. Math doesn't always have to be standalone. A lot of times it is, but not always. And so I just got lucky that this was a unit that had a book that, and we always are looking for that too. How can we continue to put literature within our lessons? And it often covers lots of different content areas as well.
I'd like to share, Stacy, you were at Hillcrest, and if I'm understanding, you weren't in a bilingual classroom, right? You were in a monolingual classroom. I hate those categories, right? But you still sheltered the lesson. And even though your learning target didn't have an explicit language goal, all students practiced all 4 language domains, and I would argue that they practiced their meta language skills. And there wasn't an emergent bilingual in that room, right? Just like you said, this is how we teach. This is best teaching for everyone. It is absolutely crucial for our emergent bilingual students, right? For them to be able to understand. You use the gestures, you use the visuals, the total response signals, and you didn't have any students that were new to the country. So for you using all of those strategies today, that just shows, right? This is how we should be teaching all of our kids. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Esme.